Welcome again to another CheapWineFinder.com podcast from Champion Dave of CheapWineFinder.com, the wine we wrote up on the CheapWineFinder.com website. And what we have today is Trader Joe's Petit Reserve Paso Robles Chardonnay 2021. Trader Joe's Reserve wines, and this Petit Reserve means there's not a lot to go around. It might not be in every Trader Joe's in every part of the country, but it's a smaller amount. So they tell you that, and it's $7.99. And it's from, well, according to the Fearless Flyer, I'll have to explain this a little bit, then we'll get into what it tastes like. In France, there's a wine company that's how it started in France. It's a negociant. And they go to an existing winery and buy one of their excess wines, and then they sell it under their own label at a lower price, and it's all hush-hush who they got it from, because if you knew that this wine actually was $25 somewhere and $8 here, you would never buy the $25 wine. So that's kind of what Trader Joe's is doing here, except Trader Joe's is a grocery store, not a negociant. So they need a third party, and a lot of times you look at the back of a bottle of Trader Joe's wines and you go, who the heck is this? And this one is Divot Enterprises, and I think they're a division of a winery out of Napa who does Napa wines, but also has this side gig where they make wines for people. And the story, and this is what Fearless Flyer says, it's a story that one of their trade partners in Paso Robles, who grow their own grapes and make their own wine, so this is a state wine, though they say it's a story, had too much Chardonnay. And Paso Robles is not a well-known place for Chardonnay, but it's a $7.99 Chardonnay, and no place is well-known for $7.99 Chardonnay. And that they offered it to it. They had an excess. They had enough that they didn't need, and Trader Joe's bought it, and this is it. So this is a Trader Joe's version of a negociant wine from a winery in Paso Robles, where this is probably an estate wine, but it's a story according to them, and they're selling it for $7.99, and it's a limited production. If you're interested, go out and get it right away. I'm going to take a sip, and then we're going to talk about it, because this is not your typical under $10 Chardonnay, and there's a lot of good under $10 Chardonnays, but we'll talk about this one in particular. It tastes expensive. I mean, there's a lot of flavors in here you don't normally get. There's like brown butter and maybe some tropical things and some toasty oak vanilla, and it's a little heavier on the palate. A lot of inexpensive Chardonnays are bright acidity and they're fruit forward and there's happy wines, and this one's kind of brooding and has some depth and weight to the flavors, which is not what you expect when I open up it's a screw cap. It's Trader Joe's. You open up the bottle and you figure, okay, I'm going to have a bright, shiny, happy Chardonnay, which is always good. And I'm getting this kind of complex brooding wine. And it's like, and sometimes like, what do I got here? And sometimes it throws you off, because even though it's probably better than the kind of cookie cutter wines, you're not used to it. You're like, what am I doing here? So I'm going to take another sip, and we're going to go more into it a little bit. There's lemons, and there's pears, and there's peaches, and there's green apple. It's kind of a brooding Chardonnay. I mean, it's kind of complex. It's got good acidity. I'm smacking my lips, and that's always a good thing, especially with inexpensive Chardonnays. There's a floral sense to the nose. I mean, it's got a nice nose to it. For a $7.99, who exactly made it Chardonnay, this is pretty good. This is a bargain. It's one of the things I like about these Trader Joe's Reserve wines, because we just did a a podcast where we talk about how Californian label can be very good because it brings all these different areas together, and a good blender can make it into something special. But when you have a single vineyard or a single estate, when some winery made this for their own, and you're getting this in this $8 bottle, which is not what you normally get in a $7.99 bottle, it's kind of fun, and it's worth the price of even trying. I mean, my motto is on to the next one. I'm not somebody who drinks the same wines over and over again, though I do have favorites who I would drink over and over again, but it's always on to the next one because every vintage is different, and by the end of the year, you start all over again. You can't go back and hope that the next vintage is as good as the last vintage, or the last vintage was as bad as the vintage before, or whatever, however it works out. So this is a wine that I would recommend just trying, just if you're in a different flavors of Chardonnay. I know I used to hear people say they didn't like oaked Chardonnay, and there's some oakiness to this one. It's not cloying. It's not the old school Napa oak. Here's some added flavor oak. And, I don't hear that so much anymore. People are kind of okay with flavor in their Chardonnay. But there you go. That's it for me, Domain Dave. This is the Trader Joe's Petit Reserve Paso Robles Chardonnays 2021. $7.99 for a limited time. Get it before it's gone because it's an interesting wine. And since it's not a lot to go around, you got to hope it's not your favorite wine because it's not going to be around in a month and a half. So adios for me. We've got a big Bordeaux bargain coming up and a few other things. So like us where you like your podcast, if you will, and I'll come back with a few wines in a couple of days, and stay warm and safe, and I'll be talking to everybody in a couple of days. Adios. Bye-bye.